Visions, delusions, abyssal or celestial power. Whichever it is, in the right hand, it could bring upon mass destruction. Welcome everyone. As always, I am Megamin and today we'll be looking into the top 10 strongest superpowers of Genshin Impact. Before we jump into the battle arena of superpowers of Teyvat, consider subscribing to the channel for theories you never thought could exist. For this top 10 list, I'll be taking all the characters who have appeared at least once during the story. So characters from the manga and characters who haven't even thought of being playable have been taken into consideration. Also, embrace yourselves to a lot of spoilers and assumptions. And before we start, we need to clarify some things. Or some of you may cry cause your favorite character didn't make the list. Let's lay some ground rules. All the characters' powers and combat abilities are measured from their prime, in other words, their maximum potential. No divine beasts like Dvalin, Azhdaha or Osial are included since they could very well beat most of the characters we have. The character one or more ranks higher should be able to defeat the lower ranking character with ease or by sacrificing an arm and a leg. Gnosis, delusions, or any other external sources that grants more power can be used if that source is tied to that character. External weapons like bombs that are made from not the power of the character is excluded cause it's not their power. Starting off at number 10, Barbados, also known as Venti. Before you get all riled up and say why is a god in number 10, listen to me first. This drunken bard is not an easy bard to deal with. He was the Anemo Archon and is the god of freedom. Started his life as a tiny wind spirit, assembled an entire cities to go up against Decarabian, the misunderstood tyrant ruler of Old Mondstadt, with the help of his bard friend that doesn't have a name to this day. After the Archon War, he blew away the winter that covered the entire region of Mondstadt. In doing so, he even managed to create the Golden Apple Archipelago and even beat the dragon Durian with the help of Dvalin. For comparison, Durian is much bigger than Dvalin. But he is said to be the weakest of the Archons and even got kicked like a football by Senora. Senora was only using her delusion, cryo powers, and Venti with his gnosis at the time had a hard time breaking through the ice that made him immobile. Also, if one-on-one combat is considered, he has none. He spent 500 years of his life as an Archon sleeping in Celestia, and in all the fights we know he was a part of, he was sitting on the side buffing the person who's fighting. So for now, number 10 position is generous, and if you disagree, convince me in the comments.
Rhythm take you.
Number 9, Totaglia, also known as Child or Ajax for those who read his lore. Probably the first and the last living mortal in this list. This mysterious man as a kid was powerless, but after falling into the abyss, he changed and now he is the only character with 3 types of abilities. He possessed the Hydrovision and an Electro Delusion granted by Saritsa, and abyssal power he learned from his time in the abyss. When Ajax fell into the abyss, he was saved and taught in all sorts of weapons by a woman named Skirk. Yes, he was beaten by our twin in the battle at Golden House. But in his story quest, which takes place after the Archon quest, he took down 3 ruin guards in his base form in 60 seconds and 4 more in less than 10 seconds in his Foul Legacy mode. And even the Traveler and Paimon was impressed. And he was able to master all the weapons, excluding the bow, in such a short time as 3 months, which means his power grows in freaking steroids.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
But for now, number 9 position is good. Until we meet him again and he shows he's stronger than the dead person coming in at number 8, Senora. Also known as the Crimson Witch of Ambers, or this name that is only second to Fischl's full name, that I am not going to say. Although in the most recent Archon quest, Senora was beaten by us and slain by the hands of Ryden Shogun, she was able to suppress an Archon and steal his Gnosis. Once a maiden in Mondstadt turned berserk after her loved one died in the Cataclysm. She fused herself with the flames of hatred and became the Crimson Witch of Flames and wandered Teyvat, killing all enemies on her side. But after meeting with the first Harbinger, she quelled her flames with the power of her cryo delusion. She might have died, but she has combat experience of 500 years and 2 opposing powers that are considered stronger than a typical vision.
Filthy rats! All of you!
Number 7. Vanessa. Also known as Dandelion Knight or the Falcon of the West. Not much is known about Vanessa after the end of Genshin manga prologue, but Vanessa is one of the only people that we know that ascended to Celestia as an Elegant. Although we have less information about her, in the Gladiators finale lore, she was a gladiator who won a tournament by defeating the protagonist of the artifact set, even without a vision. From the information I could gather, the gladiator in question took less time to defeat an opponent and even celebrated before his timepiece fully complete one cycle. Defeating someone like that with countless heads under his belt is no easy feat. Also, Vanessa was able to defeat a dragon single-handedly with the help of Anemo Archon.
The animal god called on them, each one in turn. First their leader, the West Wind, though he found himself spurned. The Lion Fang Knight was less than impressed. I've no time to join you and sing, dance, and jest, for you see to these 3 while I handle the rest.
Number 6. Xiao. Also known as Conqueror of Demons or Alatus for the lore enthusiasts. Xiao is one of the Yaksha summoned by Rex Lapis to cleanse Liyue from the monsters born from the ancient malice left behind by gods who fell during the Archon War. After thousands of years of endless killing, 4 of the Yaksha died or disappeared. Only Xiao is left. Xiao has about 2000 years of combat experience, and as an illuminated Adeptus, he possesses the power of Anemo. Although he possesses a vision, it's more of a symbol of status than the power boost to an Adeptus. The only drawback that places him below our 5th spot is that he suffers from agoraphobia, lack of experience in the Archon War from what we know, and lack of experience fighting stronger and variety of enemies. The strongest Xiao will have to fight is a corrupted Geobishop in Liyue.
Disperse!
Number 5 is Ganyu, the secretary of the Qixi. Ganyu was born before the Archon War as a half Qilin. Do you know, Qilin are said to be one of the noblest Adepti among the Adeptors, and also one of the strongest. And that Qilin blood running through Ganyu's vein is the thing that made her the number 5th on this list. And also, she hasn't been fighting anymore. But in her prime, she was fighting amongst the forces of Rex Lapis in the Archon War. and even survived to see the current day leeway. Now, don't get angry cause I put Ganyu above Xiao. Xiao was summoned after the war, but Ganyu was fighting in the Archon War. Although in Ganyu's story quest, she trained under Xiao for some time, that doesn't mean she was weaker in the Archon War era. Number 4 on this ranking is Dainsleif himself, also known as the Twilight Soul. He is one of the survivors of the Cataclysm 500 years ago in Kandria. According to the few glances into his power during We Will Be Reunited quest, we can't get much info about his power or strength level. But he was named the Twilight Sword by the people of Kandria and even survived the cataclysm that made all the people into abyssal monsters. This means even back then he was an outstanding swordsman in a civilization much advanced than any of the current day regions in Teyvat. Also, he has this strange power that is never seen before, which is a dark blue color that is not the abyssal power that our abyssal twin used. And he probably mastered whatever that power during the 500 years after the cataclysm. To be honest, I have no idea how strong he is. Maybe he is on par with the last 3 ranks, but since he is one of the extremely important characters to the story, he should be at least on par with the Archons. Therefore, he could stay here for now until we get more information about him. Before we step into the country scale powerhouses, let's see some honorable mentions.
Kid, I think I got you figured out.
Oh, in that case, you saw this coming.
What, you mean these amateurs? I was saving them for you.
Welcome to the last 3 strongest superpowers of Genshin Impact. Out of the characters we have come into contact so far. Coming in at number 3, Ryden Shogun, also known by the names of Beelzebub, Narukami Ogosho, A, and more. She is the Electro Archon and the god of eternity residing over the land of Inazuma. Ryden Shogun herself is just a puppet, but the sword within her is the real Archon. The Musono Hitotachi contains the complete power of A, and due to that, even a single blow from it is certain death to anyone weaker than A herself. Although we, the Traveler, managed to defeat A in the final battle, that was due to the power of the 100-eyed statue. This gives us a rough estimate on the power of an Archon level god without diagnosis, which is, in this case, the power of 100 visions. Imagine if we add the Gnosis to that power, the strength of Raiden A will just skyrocket. Also, she can control the lightning around Inazuma, but it's not clear if she can control lightning anywhere in the world. Up next, at number 2, is Morax, also known as Rex Lapis or Zhongli, the Geo Archon, god of contracts. As the oldest Archon in existence, Morax has around 6,000 years of experience in all things, and even he has participated in countless battles. As the oldest and the strongest Archon, he built up Liyue to the state where it is right now. But he was not the same before his beloved parted away from him on his own hands. He was once a strict ruler with hundreds of dead bodies of gods behind his back. He was able to find, carve, and give light to Azhdaha, and as easily sealed him away not just once, twice. He even sealed up the overlord of the vortex single-handedly. And to defeat a godlike beast that size of an island, you need at least the power equivalent to 4 kilotons of TNT. That's 1 0 less than what the little boy had. And all that calculation is excluding the magical defensive barriers or any defensive things Osial might have had. All this power was showcased even before he became the Archon of Geo and got the Geognosis. Also, he is the person who invented Mora.
I will have order!
At last, as the strongest Genshin Impact character at the number 1 spot, we have the Sustainer of Heavenly Principles, also known as the Unknown Goddess. Still, we don't have a proper ceiling for the max destruction Sustainer can do, but she was able to take on 2 godly beings head on and come out unscathed. Her powers include opening up something like a Garganta to teleport and cube-like powers that act on her will. To get at least a rough estimate on which level her power is, we need to look at how powerful pre-game travelers are. I tried finding the TNT needed to do that kind of explosion, but that was a lost cause. And the hit is not meant to be an explosion, and it meant to kill the Sustainer. So yeah, she has the defensive capabilities far surpassing 2 times whatever the power exerted by Lumin here. And probably same or higher offensive power too. And she didn't even flinch or look serious in the whole battle.
Wait! Don't go! Get my brother back!
And that's the top 10 strongest characters of Genshin Impact according to lore. If you ask me, will this list age well? Absolutely not. The moment Sumeru drops, the Dendro Archon might just jump into the list. But the top 3 will remain that way at least until Natlan. And even characters like Senora, Venti and Zhongli have reached their max potential or dead. So other characters could very well pass them. The one character that could get into a higher rank, if you ask me, is Totaglia with that insane growth rate. And we don't even have info about Dinsleeve, so he could be higher. And also, I would place our current traveler below 4th position, since we couldn't technically beat Ryden with our own strength. Anyway, thank you for watching. And if you agree with my picks, leave a like, and if you disagree, tell me your list in the comments. Also, check out my other videos, and if you like my content, smash that subscribe button. And see you guys on the next one.